Thanks.
Okay, right, so a bit of background about me. I've been working in sort of environmental conservation, ecology field for over a quarter of a century now. In fact, my first job, in fact before my first job, I was actually a trainee with the Scottish Wildlife Trust for a year. Then I became a training team supervisor for a few years. I was environmental lifelong learning coordinator. I was also in charge of the Educator Wildlife Centre for a little while, and I've had various other jobs since. I was actually a project that was set up by the Scottish Wildlife Trust. It was originally the Lothian Wildlife Information Centre and then became the Wildlife Information Centre. I was the manager there from 2011 to 2019, I think it was. The stress got a bit much for me. It was a great job, apart from the fact that councils do not pay the bills. That means that I couldn't pay my team, and it got a wee bit stressful. So that got to me. Took some time out, and I was just about to get back into things when COVID came along, which meant that I took a wee bit more time out, which was good because I learned a lot of things, and you're going to see some of the things, not necessarily directly, but indirectly as well. I'd made a couple of videos, sort of like short things, and they were really rubbish, and so literally just on the phone. But during COVID, my wife's a minister, and she had to do her services from the house, and I had to learn to not just video but also edit together, so that it was just sort of we could put in nice songs with some nice pictures and all that. And I now do a lot of educational videos, but also do online workshops where I do a pre-recorded sort of hour-long presentation, followed by Q&A for my small mammals, for instance. But I also do a practical workshop, which is owl pellets. So I actually send out, if people buy the dearer ticket, online ticket, I send them out owl pellets and the dissecting kit, and they sit at home. So like the next hour after it, dissecting everything, sending me pictures saying, I think this is such and such, and me going, yeah, you're right, or no, it's not, but here's why it's not. So I'm going to do things a bit differently. I'm sure normally you have someone talking and they show you some nice pictures. I'm not going to show you any pictures at all. What I'm going to do is show you lots of videos. Lots of videos. Some of them are quite old, some of them are quite new, but I've interspersed them. So I'm a wildlife educator and also a wildlife rehabber. Primarily an ecologist, and I should also explain what GW Ecology is. GW Ecology, at the moment, I'm a sole trader. However, GW Ecology is in the process of becoming a community interest company. So there's going to be a few directors, which have already nabbed from people to be a director. So it'll be not-for-profit, social enterprise, and I'll do survey work, which will get paid for, which I'll get paid for. GW Ecology will get paid for, and also do some educational work that might have income. However, I'll also do free work. So a couple of weeks ago, I was at Graeme doing their forest school. I didn't charge for that because they had no money. But so what I'll do, I'm going to do something like that from GW Ecology. I'll just take my expenses, my travel expenses. I won't take any money for time, just my travel. So it'll fund my free educational work and also fund my wildlife rescue work. So what I've got tonight is a few videos that show how my wildlife rescue work and also how my wildlife education work has developed over the years. So I'm going to try and see if this will work. If this works. So this here was how I get into wildlife rescue. I've rescued a few things in the past. This was my local village hall, and it was built in 2000, and not long afterwards, Pipistrelles moved in, and they kept getting stuck inside, so I'd rescue them, take them home, give them some water, give them some mealworms, I could sit and watch a bat eat a mealworm all day long. It's just such a cute thing. But once they were strong enough, and once they had, I felt that they were, you know, they were taken back and released. So they're quite mouthy. So this is one of my first videos of one of my rescues. In fact, actually, that's not my first video. That's 3 videos, because the sort of like the rescue, the feeding, and the I didn't know how to splice them together or anything like that. So I just recorded them 3 times and just put them up, sort of like up online as 3 separate videos. Few years later, I started doing the occasional sort of like bit of educational work, but it was really just sort of like sticking a GoPro action cam on my head and doing stuff like this.
Okay, let's see if I can get in this one. In the bag. Break open. This looks good. There, oh, I think we've got a mouse, yes. Little mouse. Oh, not happy mouse. Right. I'm going to try and get it into the corner. And get it behind the neck, that's it. So, got a little wood mouse. I haven't caught any wood mouse yesterday, so I know this isn't a recapture, so we're just going to mark it. And mark it on the right. There we go. So if we catch again, and because you're the first one, take a little photo.
This was my neighbour going past, who must have thought I was absolutely mad.
Mice are never happy to be handled. It's only one of the 4 costs. Let's see.
So this was actually the following day, and my daughter came out to help me.
Looks like there's something in it. Yeah. It looks like a ball. Yes, it does make a squeak. There we go. And it's marked already. So it's a I think. Right. And let's get oops. Let's pick. There we go. You've noticed in the videos we sex the small mammals. This is easily done, and the key is the distance between the genitalia and the anus. In females they're very close together, and in males they're much further apart.
So this was actually, again, 3 videos, because there's this little bit about explaining about sexing. That's a very recent addition. The other 2 videos with the text, the other 2 videos had no text in them originally because I just recorded them years ago, but I've used them in my small mammal training online workshop now I've spliced them all together, put some text in so that they're not just looking at me talking all the time, and then explain this. So this is actually a short segment from one of my online videos that I use for my training. So there's the reason why they're quite old was when I first made the video, I did it during COVID, and I tried not to have to do anything with small mammals at the height of COVID, because there was so much risk of passing COVID to the small mammal population, it mutating and coming back, and, you know, as something worse. And we didn't want that, you know, so like we didn't want things getting any worse. Because I mean, the small mammals were known to get infected by COVID. I think it was a mink farm and also a hamster farm, both where they had to, put to sleep the entire farm because they'd actually been infected with COVID, and they couldn't take the risk of it, especially with something like hamsters, rodents, where they have such a high turnover of reproduction. They could actually mutate really fast. So these are certainly, these are older ones, but I've got a bit better. I like to think in that. So nowadays I post a lot to social media. I put stuff on YouTube. I also upload to Instagram. I don't do Twitter as much, and I refuse to call it X because it's just become such a place recently. I also do, but I do TikTok, and it's a bit strange. It's sort of, a 50-odd-year-old doing TikTok, but I have actually got quite a few sort of people that actually do interact with me on there, which is quite nice. So how do you keep doing that? But this is one of my little videos that explains the rescue.
It's just a bit wet and blowy, and that's my dad just over my shoulder taking the dog for a walk, and he's just told me he's come out and he's spotted pigeon there, and it seems to be inches, so I'm going to go and have a look. It's the young one.
This is dead and green.
Wobbly in his feet, and it's not flying, so I'm going to go and catch it and take it in and give it a once over.
Mum and Dad isn't looking after something that's grounded.
It's also definitely taken in taking it. Right, I've got it in a cage. I've got it stood in there. I've also got water. The water has some anti-parasitical medicine in it. I've also given it a tablet, a canker, which is very common in pigeons, just as a preventive. And I don't know what's wrong with it. It's not able to fly, as I saw, and it seems quite plump, so it's obviously been eaten until quite recently. But if I left it out in the village green, it's either going to get it in the road and get run down, or a local dog or cat is going to have it. Dexter would have probably had it,
That's my dog.
because he does go for things that are furry and feathery, no matter how much we try. So stay with me for a wee while, and hopefully that wing, whatever's wrong with it, will improve. This wee pigeon has been with me for a few days now, and you can see its wings are pretty much even. One was dripping quite a bit, and it's also very upright, so I'm going to see whether it can fly. I've got it ready. Let's see. There it goes! There it goes! Yes! It's amazing what a few days of rest and recuperation can do.
I do get quite excited when I release something, and the reason for that is a really sad thing, if it's a fact or statistic about wildlife rescue, is when a wildlife gets taken into care, its chances of survival are about 30%. And the reason for that is that rehabbers, it's not that rehabbers are rubbish, we're actually quite good, most of us are quite good. However, but what happens is, if you think about it, I was able to catch that pigeon because it wasn't able to fly very well at all. But if it had actually been a bit more healthy, I probably wouldn't be able to catch it. Still would have, it still would have struggled to survive and probably died. So they have to be able to catch them, they have to be in a pretty bad way already. So as soon as you do that, and then they're a wild animal. You take them into care, stress. They're going to be suffering from stress. So I try and keep them as separated as possible. So that was in a dog cage, but if I've got more than one thing, I'll actually put up barriers so that they can't see what's in the cages next to them. This is in a workshop. At the moment, I'm also, as well as trying to become a community interest company, I'm also wanting to become registered as an animal welfare establishment. At the minute, legally, I cannot have more than 7 animals in care unless without being registered and licensed. I'm planning to do that, but I need to. I've been crowdfunding. I've got enough now to buy a hut, so I'm going to buy it's more than a hut, a big 10 by 8 shed that I'm going to put in sort of like a wall of cages in, so that they'll be a lot easier to clean and keep sort of like and keep separate from each other. I get a bit sort of like frustrated, sort of like in this, sort of like to become a registered animal welfare establishment. Anything that sells or cares for, and that includes selling animals, pays exactly the same. So as a wildlife rescue, I pay the same as, and I'm not saying anything about a dog rescue or a cat rescue, it pays the same as a pet shop, including pets at home. So pets at home pay the same as what I've had to pay, which is about £900 to become registered, which is quite a substantial amount. So it's you know, you think we don't do the ones that sort of like have big multinational companies and that have lots of money pay for the small, small rescues that are actually doing some pretty good work. Some people have sort of said to me, why are you rescuing pigeons and stuff like that? I'll rescue any wild animal and I'll release it as long as it's legal for me to release. There is sort of like, there's, and that's actually, that's not, I'm not just saying that, it's like if I got a grey squirrel in care, whether I would, whether, thankfully I've never had to go down that route or sort of like, having to do that. But it's also, legally, can I release it? Is it going to survive if I release it? So I've got some rescues and you'll meet one of them later, which I can't release, but they can be kept in captivity, and have a good quality of life. That's the important thing, having a good quality of life. If they can't, then unfortunately euthanasia is the only, not just practical, ethical thing to do. It's not a nice part of the job, but it is part of it. So, next bit, the next one's a bat rescue, another bat rescue, and you'll see in this was this year, up the Ettrick Valley. So, it's a little ash here. It was found by someone whose father was a vet, so they said, here's what to do, particularly said that, but it still didn't fly. So I actually quickly caught on. Some bats take a while to catch on to what a mealworm is and what to do with it. In case you don't know, how you get a bat to eat a mealworm is you pinch off the head and then squeeze out the innards with toothpaste into its mouth. Eventually then they get the gist, and you don't have to pinch the head off, they'll just start to eat them. This is my dining room. It's actually it's the Church of Scotland man's dining room in Denham.
There she is, we can round the house. Oh, she's over there.
So, partly you heard there's a mum and also the daughter there. I took along a bat detector so that they could hear the bats, and that, because it's quite often I'll link in educational work with rescue work. If I get an opportunity to do that, I will do it. So I don't need an excuse to talk about wildlife, and if I've got a captive audience, I'll certainly do it. One thing I did do in 2021, I did a thing called My Wildlife Year, where I made a weekly video. Some of them were quite short, some of them were quite long. I think there was actually one that was over an hour long. I had a so I made that, and then the following year I was going to try and make sort of like a weekly video again, or a monthly video, but it never really came off. And I was going to do, I think it was another weekly one we were going to do that time. And this year I was going to do a monthly one, and then things kind of took off because I started my plans for GW Ecology. But during 2022, I think it was, I did some stuff. I did a daily video, just a short daily video during June for 30 Days Wild, and this is my first one.
So, have you heard about 30 Days Wild? It's an event run throughout June by the Wildlife Trusts, and it's basically encouraged to do something wild, related every day. And that's kind of what I do anyway. So I'm doing something a bit different than my 30 Days Wild. I'm going to make a little videos highlighting a bit of equipment or some hints and tips. And today, for day one, is the insect net. So this is a pretty basic one. Wooden handle, sturdy net, and quite long net. You push it like that, and then in this wee bag, you constantly fold it over so that whatever is in there is caught. You can put a bug pot in and catch it to see it. That's a basic one. Bit more advanced is this one. Bit bigger, but also this bit here is under Velcro, and you can swap it over and it becomes a plastic net. Pretty good. So this one is one of my favourites. This little one here, pull that bit in there, shake it, it pops up. Little handle, so it pops up in your pocket and you can carry it just about anywhere. Also, if you get a bit of dialing, the right size, you go in there, you get a handle on it. So that's pretty good too. And lastly, there's this one. Bit big one. Again, flip over, go like that. This handle here comes off. The short handle, and once it's off, this over like that. So it can fit in the pocket of cargo trousers or your bag, which is pretty good. But this is a pretty universal attachment here, this screw. It's the same for ecological nets as it is for fishing nets. So that one's the big long handle from ecological supply. It would cost a lot of money. Whereas this here, got from this tenor, extends to 2 meters 20. It's up in. And I have got a really long insect net. Get stuff over without having to go through and undergrowth and that, I can catch that. So it's pretty good. So, hope you enjoyed that, the insect nets. That's the day one of 30 Days Wild. Hopefully you enjoyed it, found it useful, and we will see you for day 2.
Is it too loud?
What's the background twittering?
It's the birds in the garden.
Right, okay. I could work out why we were having that.
Yeah, no, it's because I was recording it in June,
Right.
so it's, my garden is full of birds. In fact, the hedge, I don't know whether you actually saw it, I think it was a puzzle tree behind me. So to my left, there's a big hedge which is about probably at least 50 metres long, that is 10 foot high and probably about 10 foot wide as well. And if you go down just before sunset, there's a brilliant murmuration in Denham, and you watch it, they land in my garden and in the hedge, which is brilliant. It's very noisy, and also during summer when they do it, it is amazingly smelly as well. Not the greatest. So this was quite a challenge for me, because I had to make, I made roughly about a 3-minute video every single day. But I think it was worth it. I still share it. I created a playlist on YouTube, and I've actually shared it with quite a few teachers who've come back to me and said it's really good because they're very bite-sized. They can actually show them. My presentation skills isn't great because I keep saying things like so all the time, and actually, but, that's just the way I do things, and I try my best. But and I'm aware of my weaknesses. The teachers say that the enthusiasm helps. That one took quite a long, because that was all one take. That was about the 10th take, because I wasn't going to have to edit it together. And I had lots of nets bung down my back. So sometimes rescues don't involve actually taking an animal into care, and then this one here is a good example of that. And I don't think, is this the one that's got, I've been a bit artistic, I think, in this one. Is this the one that's got music? Might be. Yes, it is. Is this in white? That was the first one. I actually went there a couple of weeks later because another one got stuck in there. There's a wee nest down the bottom. There was a couple of nests down the bottom. And it was a shame because the person that was, they were stuck right out where that window was, the door opposite, they were bird phobic. So they were really, so they were stuck in their house while this stuff. So they were very grateful when I went along. And interestingly, a few weeks later, I get called to one where it turned out to be a sparrowhawk in a garden in Denham, and she was bird phobic. Turned out it was a cousin of this. It was obviously something genetic, because she was going, there's a bird out in my garden, can you come and get it? I can't. It's like, I want it rescued, I don't want it like that, but I don't want anything to happen to it, but I cannot do anything. I can't come out and sort of like help me catch it. So it turned out both cousins were bird phobic. So this year's been quite busy. I've got Borders Vets use me as a rehabber, and my own vets, which is the Hoik practice. I'm not only there a rehabber, also that's where I take my rescues to. A lot of people think vets aren't great with wildlife. That's not my experience in the Borders. My experience is that they're really good. I actually took a hedgehog that I was convinced was going to be, as soon as I picked it up, I thought, I'm going to be taking you straight to the vet and you're probably going to be put to sleep, because it was even rolled up, it still had one leg sticking out, and it was obviously injured, and it had sort of like marks on it, and I thought, and I thought, you're probably broken or severe dislocation, and looks like. Turned out, when I took it to Hoik Vets, they said, no, it's not actually broken, dislocated. It's just badly infected, a course of antibiotics, and it should be okay. It's going to be a long journey, so they gave me antibiotics to inject for I think about 10 days, every couple of days to give an injection, and eventually the leg sort of like it started walking on it again, but it was holding it out at right angles to the body, because just the way we would, if you've got something sore, we're holding to hold it, protect it. Well, the easiest way to protect it is to hold it out. Even when it curled up, it stuck its leg out, so it was really nice. But this is when the Border Vets contacted me about, and it was the toenail I'm about to show. It came from just on the A7, just at the headache turn off. So it had been clipped by a car and they'd taken to the vets. Thankfully, I have a supply of frozen ice in my freezer, which my wife loves me for, I have to say. It's really important to give them not just meat, but actually give them something with bones in it to make sure it's working. My workshop, as you can see, has ivy growing in through the back, so it spent a long time up there. It took me a while to get it down. Problem with doing it in a nighttime release, it's not the best of videos because it just goes out into the darkness. Trust me, it did fly away. So it's really nice to have an owl in care and have a successful release. Quite often, successful releases, I don't get a decent video of them because obviously I can't reshoot them. It's like if I'm videoing this way, that comes out my hand and goes that way. It's like, oh, there, it's gone. So it can be a bit difficult. This one here. Oh, I know why I put this in. This is rather than a pipistrelle. I do mainly pipistrelle bats because they're the most common bat, commoner soprano pipistrelles. But occasionally I get something else, and this was a natterer's bat, which natterers are a woodland species of bat, and it was found in the central Hoyk on the footpath next to the river. So we don't know what it was doing in the middle of Hoyk. All we can think of is it was October, so it might have actually been heading towards its hibernation site and just get blown off course and be a bit tired.
I'm gloved up, I've got my mask on. I would normally do this out in my workshop, but unfortunately I was in the middle of tidying my wildlife rescue triage area, so it's not in a first aid, so I'm having to do it inside and door. So I've just had someone drop off and that was bad with me. So got the mask on to make sure that I don't pass COVID to it. So it's lovely Natterer's bat. It was found grounded on the pavement. There's no damage to the wings, which is good news. Yes.
I'm not giving it that much of a check over because it was an ecologist that found it in the bat licence, so they'd already done most of the work.
I'm going to pop it in a little cup here. Just got zero scales here. It's 5.85 grams. Healthy weight from adult natterers, which this is between 7 and 12 kilograms. 7 to 12 grams. So, underweight, could be dehydrated as well. So, what I'm going to do, it seems otherwise it seems perfectly fit. So, I'm going to get it eaten, get some fluids down it, and hopefully a little bit of rest and recuperation, and it'll be ready for release. I'm just a bit concerned that we're getting near hibernation time. I want to get it back in the air as long as it's fit. In the next week or so after that, it's really going to depend what the weather's like, whether I'm able to release it before winter. But hopefully I'll be able to do that. So go and get it some liquids down it and get some food down it. Here's the Natterer's bat that I've got in here at the moment. I don't know how you can see, he's got a mealworm in his mouth. Yeah. He's doing well. He's on 0.35 per gram. It's not a lot, but it's going in the right direction. So hopefully there'll be another increase next 24 hours. At the Natterer's bat in this flight cage. Here it is up there. So we'll see if I can release it this evening. I've come just up from where it was found. It was found in a street and we're not releasing the street, so I'm just going to release it next to a cat park which I've had. And I've got it here. I've actually had it on a heated mat to warm it up, to warm up his muscles. So hopefully it's going to fly. It's over 10 degrees, it's not windy, a wee bit drizzle earlier, but it's dried up now, so let's go and see. It's gone. Just got that happens away. It's always good to have that successful release and successful wildlife rescue story. Yes.
Perfect. The next one, I thought twice about putting it out, but I think actually it's important to show the reality of wildlife rescue. So this was one that involves whitebecks.
I'm out at Willenstraw Loch, just the west side of Hoyk, and I got a call earlier, I met earlier, about a swan and triple, and I've just got it. I've got it here. I'm just getting my breath back after carrying it back along the side of the loch, and then I'm taking it home to get it sorted. Here's what I pulled out its leg, and after unwrapping all the line that was also around it, so not so good.
After I've removed that, I'll put on some iodine solution and also some aloe vera mixture as well, just to fight any infection that could be in there. I'm not sure whether there's been some permanent damage to the leg. The leg's not working just now, but it could just be that it is numb because it's been tied up with the line. I'll leave it overnight and see. I've got it in with some seeds and some water in a big cage, so I'll see how it is in the morning.
The swan's been eating some grain and drinking, but I'm just a bit concerned about this bit here. It's feeling cold. The knee and the ankle of that leg are quite swollen. You can actually still see where the line was wrapped around it, and the foot is actually a bit chilly compared to the other foot. So I'm a bit concerned about circulation, but I'm taking to the vet. There's the swan all ready for transport. A wee bit out of it, because it takes quite a bit, it's quite heavy, and there's a wee bit of a fine. That's me here at White Vet. Can I just take this one in to see the vet? That's the swan back from the vets. Had an injection, antibiotic injection, just to try and get that swelling and the heat out of that leg. But this leg's not showing much sign of movement, which is quite worrying. So I've got a couple more injections to give over the next few days, and I'm also going to give some physio as well to get blood flowing back in that leg. But if that doesn't work, then this one cannot survive with one leg, unfortunately. So I'll be trying everything I can to get this one back in its feet and back in the water. I'm just taking a breather after wrangling the swan into this carry case. I've had it with me in care for a week and a half now, and just really concerned about that foot. It's finished its antibiotic injections, and the leg seems a bit better, but with the circulation in it just hasn't come back where we want it to. It's really still quite cold, and it's had a couple of blisters on it, so I'm taking it back to the vet. I've been giving it exercising the foot, massaging it, giving it hot and cold bath to encourage circulation, but it's not progressing how I would like, so I'm really concerned. So taking it back to the vet, and now I've got my breast back, I'll carry it to the car. And I'm just out there, so it was nothing. The foot was just too far gone, she was never going to be able to walk, and she had to be put to sleep. So I held her, she went. So, thanks to the vet for seeing me so quickly, and thinking she's not suffering, and she was grim with her legs that she couldn't run.
That kind of shows the reality, unfortunately, of it. However, nearly a year later, I had another swan rescue, which is a bit more.
Here at Bank on my law, because there was a swan quite close by in front of the road during Storm Ashley. In fact, there's actually the swan named after the storm, just popping her head up there. So it's a young swan brought back here to release in front of my law, pretty certain. It's here, a couple of folk had said there was a swan missing. It never released yesterday because it was just too windy. When it came, the swan was very dopey and placid, which is a big warning sign. But now, after just doing care, it was up quite nicely, but I kept it another night just for the wind to go down, so it's a nice calmer day today, so I'm going to release it. There we go. That is what we're talking about. There it is in the water.
So, yeah, that's, I've actually had two swans. I've got another one actually that's just about to be released to sit still in my back garden. I've just been trying to find the right place to release it. It's a young one. It came down in the middle of nowhere on a wet road, probably thinking it was a river, and it took a few days for it to recover. It has recovered now, and I've just been looking for the right place because I don't want to put it somewhere where it's going to get bullied. but I also don't want to put it somewhere where it's going to be too lonely, but I think I've got the right place, and I think I've got the right place now, so come Saturday, and it's going to be released. During my job as well, sometimes I do a lot of long journeys, and occasionally I will stop and do something just for the heck of it, and this is what I did here, and this is actually, I really like this. It's not often I'll be proud of a video I've made, but I'm really proud of this one. I quite like it.
I head back to my job at my house, and instead to stop here and look at and have a look for any beaver signs. I think I found some. This branch here is obviously been washed down in some recent rains, but look at that. That's definitely beaver. And look at this marking right here. See all the teeth marks. Wow. And even more signs here. See those teeth marks out here. Now, look at this through here. Can you see that tree over there? Look at that. Even if you really can change a landscape. And look at this. You see in there. Look. That's been taken down by a beaver. Look at the size of it. And also through there, some more beaver taking down trees. Amazing. Just as the one aside, this path that I'm following has obviously been made by animals, because look, they got right underneath these fallen trees and they've been down for a while, judging by the into the woods. So probably badger, maybe otter, maybe even beaver using these paths. Beavers are what is known as keystone species. That means that they can have such a tremendous positive impact on the environment. Yeah, it might look like they're doing damage by taking down these trees, but there's other trees around. But what they're doing is they're building dams, they're slowing up river. There's been quite a flood here just recently. That's why I've not found any recent signs of beaver chewing up, because all the small bits of wood have all been washed away. But they're able to slow up the river. So when this river goes in spate, the dams slow it down and it stops flooding again further downstream. So yes, there can be issues with beavers, but having them here is really so special. I am so pleased that they're back in Scotland. That's my little trip out looking for beaver signs. Never found a dam or a lodge. I haven't got a lot of time, unfortunately. I'm getting back home. I want to get back before it's too late, because I'm actually quite tired. It's been a long day so far. I'll definitely be coming back for another visit to look for more beavers.
And if you want to know where that is, going up the 9 in Perth, you've got Tyso, and there's also sort of like the car sort of like places over the other side. If you go through the car, past the car places, go through there, there's a wee bridge, park up there, and that river, that's where all those are. But you don't need to go as far as that for beavers nowadays. They're in West Lothian now, that won't belong to they're here. There's been just recently there's been some seen around about Bathgate. So and definitely beaver. It's not just a sort of like, is it? There's video evidence. I was actually said to me to just go, yeah, this is definitely beaver, isn't it? Yeah. This is my big camera that I use for a lot of my wildlife work. It's actually got a infrared facility in it as well, so I can actually do nighttime vision. So what I brought along is mostly non-native species, although there is one native species here that we'll get to as well. But I brought along because although they're non-native, they're really useful for teaching about wildlife to young people and kids, and also to adults, and in fact also about wildlife rescue and conservation, because a couple of these are also rescues. So this is one of my, it's not a slow worm, millipede. It's a giant millipede. Just hopefully once it warms up, it's starting to
go for a walk. I do not own a home.
So it's exactly the same as the small millipedes, but it's really great to be able to show kids what they look like and watch those legs. I don't know how you can see on there. Those legs move in waves, and the waves move forward as well, which is a bit strange. So I've got a millipede millipedes are all vegetarian. So
where does that come from?
this one, the giant olive, they're somewhere in Africa. I can't remember where they are now.
Why have you got it?
Why have I got it? Because it's a really good educational resource. This one was one I bought for that reason. And then off you go. It's a bit like Velcro. However, as well as millipedes, go for the carnivorous ones, which is the giant red-headed centipede. So this one will grow to about 30 centimetres. Chinese red-headed scorpion, we're not sure it is venomous, not sure exactly how venomous. And that's after I did research, because I was showing, I've started doing birthday parties recently. So I kind of get into it by accident, and I was showing this, and a girl asked me a question, and the girl got distracted, and the centipede bit me in my middle finger. So I took this, I got it off, and it turned round and bit this middle finger. Both middle fingers started throbbing very, very soon after that. And then after about 10 minutes, the lymph nodes started swelling up, so I had to do the rest of this, the mini beast session like that. And then during the sort of cake break that they're having, I was Googling venomous Chinese red-headed centipedes. And then after that, I was doing a bat walk with them as part of the birthday party as well. So, so these, also on here, you can actually see there's some woodlice on there. Woodlice are on there for two things. One is for it to eat. It's also eating some mealworm beetles that stopping mealworms and beetles. I'll put in some crickets in there. It's quite a voracious predator, and that bite is really painful. Couple of weeks of pain after the bite, and then all the skin flaked off, peeled off, and I had raw fingers for a couple of weeks. So probably about a month worth of discomfort. Right. Now, this is Gordon. Gordon's just sitting here. And Gordon is, I'm hoping this will work.
Oh, wow.
That's a ultraviolet torch, and that's Gordon the scorpion. And something's just dropped in there. So Gordon is a rescue from the SSPCA. He was named by them. The reason he's named Gordon, does anyone know?
I was going to be a gecko.
No, that's a good one. It's, no, my gecko's called Art Gecko. But no, he's named Gordon because what does he have in the end of his tail? Sting.
Oh, yeah.
Got the Sting, the lead singer of the Police, his real name is Gordon. So he's a forest dweller, likes it very dark. But this one here is another scorpion, but this is a June scorpion, and again glows a nice colour. And you got any
I can't quite see him.
So he's quite so it's really good to be able to show kids some of these, as well as I'll get this one, as well as scorpions. Another one that glows a bit under whether you can see them, they're going a wee bit, not very much, they do glow a wee bit with lights. If you ever want something there just to sort of experience it, go out at night with ultraviolet torch and just shine it on all those things. And there's quite a lot of wildlife, invertebrates that come out at night actually glow under UV light.
Apparently hedgehogs go out.
Oh yes, hedgehogs go.
That recently happened.
Yeah, probably. So, I don't know how many of you here have ever watched is it Phileas and Ferb? So like it was it's a cartoon, and there's a platypus in it called Perry the Platypus, and the colour he was a sort of teal green. Platypuses are not that colour. But it was only recently found out that if you actually shine light on them, they are actually that shade of teal green. So the guy that wrote it is going, how did I manage that? So, yeah. In here as well, what have I got? My Madagascar. Can you hear that hissing?
Yeah.
Madagascar hissing cockroaches.
Definitely should be free. Don't let it go.
This is a male, and this one's a female.
Oh,
So, females are usually a bit bigger, but they've also the males have a sort of have more sort of horns at the front, and more horns just above the just behind the head.
she's like climbing
So,
down.
they're quite the noisy thing. If you've got them in your, if you've got them in with silent, so like in your, I've got them in a container, a big vivarium with sun beetles, which if they fly can be quite noisy. A giant land snail, and also lots of wood lice, and I never put them in, lots of silent crickets, which do not live up to their name. Now, you beauty, come here, right? It's a spiny stick insect. And this one is really useful for teaching about camouflage to you know, the kids, looks like dead leaves. So she's quite the character. She's a she. I've got some smaller ones, but they're males. So the stick insects, if there is females, then they're bigger than the males. But classic Indian stick insects, most of them are all females, and they're parthenogenic, so they don't need a male to reproduce. They reproduce fertile females. But this one here is one of my favourites because, oh, you're at it. Stop it, you two. I'm trying to show you off. Behave. You're showing me up. Right, so these are, stay still, are black beauty stick insects, which have lovely yellow eyes, and if they were actually still, they've got tiny little vestigial red wings just hidden away. But these two are obviously procreating, which is actually quite good because these are a conservation story. They're found in Peru, are known only to exist in less than 5 hectares of the world. So, could disappear. So, people like me keeping them in their collection of invertebrates are going to be really, could potentially be really important for the future of the, what? You're coming off. So they're, have you finished? Have you finished? It's hard as So I don't know how they have been at it on and off for a few weeks, so I don't know whether I've got any eggs in the bottom of my enclosure. I know that I've had quite a lot, because they're in an enclosure with lots of other different stick insects. I know I've certainly got lots of Indian stick insects, because I've got loads of tiny little ones. Now, I was wanting to bring Oslo with me. Oslo's a curly hair tarantula. Unfortunately, Oslo is molting at the minute, because Oslo is lovely, likes but it doesn't mind being handled. It's a New World tarantula, which means they're not that venomous. And if they feel threatened, they'll kick up hairs off the back that will irritate your eyes and your mouth and your nose. But she never does that. Curly hairs aren't really prone to getting upset. So she's a lovely tarantula. Unfortunately, she's molting, so I've had to leave her. So I brought Cairo instead. Now, Oslo and Cairo are both rescues from SSPCA, the same way Gordon was. Oslo came to me. There's Sydney. They were all named after capital cities, or cities around the world, rather. Sydney was put up on the site. It turned out they'd actually 7 to rehome. The rehome 5, including Oslo, came to me, and one of them unfortunately died. This can happen with tarantulas when they moult. It's a very delicate situation. They can pass and that thing. And then they were left with Cairo. SSPCA phoned me up and asked me if I would take Cairo, because Cairo, they said, is a bit venomous. So this is Cairo here. And I'm not going to handle Cairo, but that's Cairo. Lovely, beautiful blue baboon tarantula. It's an old world tarantula, that means comes from Africa. And the old world tarantulas don't have hairs in their back that they throw up, they just are very venomous. Now, when I get the phone call about Cairo, the phone call went something like this. I said, listen, we've got Cairo, we mentioned Cairo before. Would you be willing to take Cairo? Now, because we're really struggling to rehome, because we've been told that Cairo's a wee bit venomous. So I did due diligence and did full research before half a second later going, yeah, I'll take it. I'm not sure what sex Cairo is. I've never got that close to find out. It was only once Cairo was sitting, Cairo's in a glass vivarium, but the vivarium was sitting like that on my desk facing me, and Cairo was sitting there looking at me, and I thought, I wonder. So I got my phone out. How venomous are blue baboon tarantulas? It turns out there's not a lot of it known about how venomous they are. However, if you believe what's in Wikipedia, now I know you can't believe everything that's in Wikipedia, it says, it is said that a blue baboon tarantula is venomous enough to kill a dromedary. I was thinking, the only dromedary I know is a camel, and it can't possibly be that. But the dromedary was highlighted in blue, so it was a live link, so I click it. Oh, it is a camel. And I've got it sitting on my desk. And Cairo has escaped once. Escaped. I thought she's a burrower. I thought she was down in her burrow, but it turned out she was just above the lid of the viv. So I was going to drop some food in, I opened the viv. She jumped out underneath, ran under the table. So I'm under the table with half a coconut and a bit of cards, 20. But she saw me coming, ran back up, went into her viv just by chance. So I shut the lid, and she's not been out again since, other than tonight. So these are all my non-natives, but having things like Cairo is really useful because it shows a spider up close and you can see spiders' eyes on the top of the heads. So it's really good to see. So having big centipedes, millipedes, and spiders are really important. For educational purposes. Things like the spiny stick insect, it shows camouflage. The black beauties, it shows the importance of keeping collections for conservation. And the scorpions are just cool because you shine a light on ultraviolet light on you go. But I've got one last thing I'm going to show you. This is a native one. And I'm going to do two things. One is I'm going to put a mask on because it's a native mammal. in the recommendation is just now, if you handle a native mammal, you should always wear a mask. And I'm going to put on gloves, which are to protect me, really, but this little one would have to really gnaw on my finger for half an hour to be able to draw blood. So, oh, come on, that's a mooch.
The bat, the bat. It's a mooch.
Come on, out we come. So, yeah. Oh, you can pooing. There we go. Just get that poo off you. This is Pepper. She came to me at the start of this year, and unfortunately she can't fly. She's got something wrong with her shoulders, the muscles in her shoulders. So her wings are perfectly fine. There's no broken bones, but she just didn't be able to fly. So come. There's her wing there. Can you see her little thumb? And that thumb is really important because that's how she walks. But also, she uses that to clean herself. So if she's she uses that to clean herself, and if she can't clean herself, she'll get she'll get more parasites on her mites and fleas and other stuff, and that's really bad for her. So if a bat loses a thumb, it's really going to struggle in the wild. But little Pepper here is become an educational bat. I do have a licence to keep her. You're not allowed to keep bats as pets. And of course, Pepper is not a pet, not at all. She's an educational bat. So she comes out with me. I've also got Lottie, who I've had for, she's a 3-year-old. I've had her since she was a pup. And I've actually just recently got Woody, who I suspect is not going to be released because he's also got some sort of wing injury. There's no broken bones, but he's not holding his wing right. And then, you know, I'm going to probably overwinter him, and unless he flies in the spring, don't you go. This one, but the Pepper will try and fly, but if she did, she'd just end up down there. So I don't want her to. So you can see there. I'm going to make noise. So she's in you go, I know, going off. So you transport them in a bag, really to make them feel safe. They're a quick crevice dwelling bats, so they like to take that off, it's getting very hot. They like to feel secure. So I pop her in here, but she does have a bigger thing than that to stay in. She doesn't stay in, she's only in that for transport. Some of them hibernate, so Lottie is hibernating at the moment. She decided to hibernate this year. She didn't, Lottie didn't hibernate the first year, hibernated last year, and then she's hibernated this year. So she's thingy here, Pepper has decided not to hibernate, and neither's Woody, but I'm not really wanting Woody to hibernate anyway because he was very light when I found him. So they get fed on mealworms. The mealworms are gut loaded, so I put in special food to make them as nutritional as possible. And the ones that are still awake know what to do with mealworms. If I put mealworms in, they're very keen on eating them. I think that's all I've got to say, so I don't get any questions.
So you're able to encourage or discourage hibernation then? with temperature, food and that sort of thing, or do they just fancy it?
Well, I had 2 bats the year that I had Lottie, the first year where she didn't hibernate. I had another bat that I was overwintering because it had been injured and I needed to overwinter it to get it back to health before releasing in the spring. She hibernated. They were literally in the same containers, on the same shelf, next to each other, and one hibernated and one didn't. So, and they both had the same amount of food and water availability. So I don't know. There's a lot we don't know about bats. I mean, I do a bat walk. I do lots of bat walks, but every year I always find some new bit of stuff that we find out about bats. I mean, it's only quite relatively recent, in the past few years, that we've discovered that we've got a fish-eating bat in the UK. You know, because the Bentons will actually eat will eat fish. Tiny little, you know, fry just under the water, but we didn't know that until quite recently. I always start off. I started off my first bat walk 25 years ago. 24 years ago in 2000. I started it off by saying that there's about 950 species of bats. I now start off by saying there's over 1,450 species. So 500 species, or roughly a third of the species, have been discovered this century. So we're finding out new stuff all the time.
Have you got a death fish with some of these animals?
What's that?
Have you got a death fish with some of these animals?
I'm careful normally. If I don't get distracted, I only get bitten by the centipede because I get distracted. I mean, I have held, and I say that, I mean, I do obviously hold Cairo to get her in and out, but I wear gloves for that. I don't. I would never try and hold Cairo without gloves.
I wonder you're still alive after being bitten by a centipede, because there's one in the Mediterranean,
Oh yeah.
which is about 3 inches long. And it's a well-known fact if you're bitten by that.
Yeah,
That's
I know. It's, I looked up, so I knew it was a Chinese red-headed centipede, and I was looking that up, and it was saying it was quite venomous and causes a lot of pain, and I can vouch for that.
Go on, Max.
I was just going to say, Graeme, do you want to tell people how they can donate to you if they want to support what you do?
Yeah, I mean, if you look for GW, either GW Ecology or GW Wildlife Rescue Rehabilitation on, if you're on Facebook, both those pages, you'll be able to find your way to GW Wildlife Rescue Rehabilitation. At the top of the page there, I've got how you can donate, but also on gwecology.com there is a page on Wildlife Rescue Rehabilitation that tells how you can donate. I've got, at the minute, folk can buy stuff from an Amazon wish list, which is stuff that I'll use in the rescue. Some of it may seem really strange, sort of like, you know, what do you use that for? I don't know whether I've got mascara brushes on my list of other, I think I do have that in a minute because someone's bought some. Mascara brushes are brilliant for combing fleas and lice out of bats. So, you know, it's amazing what you can use for doing that. And then, so there's lots of different things. I know that one thing that I've added recently is baby net covers. You know, the sort of net covers that you put over prams. Well, if you've got a cage, if you put that over a cage, that will stop any flies going in and either laying their eggs on a poorly animal or laying their eggs on the food. So there's various things like that. So there's Amazon wish list. There's also, in the minute, it's to my own private PayPal, but I don't like that. But once I get the CIC set up, I'll have my own sort of like bank account, so that will change to the CIC PayPal. And there's also a crowdfunder. I don't think the details are on the website. The details are on my Facebook page for the crowdfunder. That's to help set up my wildlife shed and also get registered as an animal welfare establishment.
Nice. Well, thank you very much. That was brilliant.
I should also say, just a thing, if anyone wants to, I've got cards here. and I'm available for booking for birthday parties. But all seriously, if you ever want to do this bespoke events,
Take us
some
to lunch,
people will
love.
book me for family bat walks. Yes, and also sort of, you know, I do run workshops and sort of, you know, and that. I've actually got one just sort of, it's the Wildlife Information Centre running a small mammal workshop. I think it's next Wednesday in Denham, which it's me that's leading it. So.
Well, thank you very much for that.